everyone. Just trying to make sure that we're live. It was sticking a little bit there. So how is everybody doing on this Sunday afternoon? I am Jacqueline Kabay Harrison, and you are joining us for A Queen's Roundtable Show, which happens every Sunday of the month at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And just to remind you, the purpose of A Queen's Roundtable Show is each episode I bring on an entrepreneur, and we share openly and honestly ups and downs of entrepreneurship, and we end on a note of personal and or professional development to assist you in being able to scale in your business and improve professionally and leadership skills. Okay. So if you're interested in being a guest on the show, the link is in the comments or in the write-up. Go ahead and click on that link and let's sit down and talk and let's make it happen. So I am super, super excited today. I have a special guest, Dr. Tonya Blackmon, and I'm going to go ahead and let her introduce herself to you all. But make sure, if you haven't done so already, make sure you're in a quiet place, grab a pen and a pad, and just get ready to take some notes. Okay, go ahead, Dr. Blackmon. Introduce yourself to the ladies.
Thank you so much, Jacqueline, for having me on your show today. I am so excited. I've been waiting several months for this, and I was like, yay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. So thank you for your patience with me, and thank you for understanding throughout the entire process. My name is Dr. Tonya Blackmon. I am the proud owner of Conglomerate Empowerment and TEK UP Academy, and I am a grant writer. I'm a small business developer. I help businesses get paid. Just as simple as that.
I like that. I help businesses get paid. And I have to admit, I am completely, I lack knowledge. I don't have any knowledge of getting grants. And it's ironic because I'm a social worker, and a lot of agencies I work in are nonprofit, but in terms of the whole grant writing and stuff like that, I have no knowledge in that area. So, and I'm very eager to hear what you have to say on that. And I'm sure that there are a lot of other businesses out there that are also interested in this information. So you are definitely a rare commodity. And I'm so excited that you're here. So before we jump into that, tell us a little bit more about, like maybe, for example, do you come from a big family, like where you're based out of, where you grew up? If you come from a family of entrepreneurs, and then segue into your why behind your businesses.
Oh, wow. Ever since I was a little girl, I grew up on a dirt road in South Carolina, so I'm Southern to the bone. And even though I live in Las Vegas, I'm still very, very Southern, and grew up in a family of entrepreneurs. My mother has brothers and sisters that have never worked for anyone. They've always had their own. That's right. I'm a fourth generation business owner. My mom was a business owner. So really and truly, I learned everything about business from my family members, and then went on to school to earn an MBA and then earned a doctorate in international business. And several years ago, maybe about 10 plus years ago, my husband and I were on the brink of a divorce. And I had just quit a job where I had been earning like $44 an hour, to move to a new state. And I was faced with the question is, how am I going to feed myself? How am I going to have medical, if we get a divorce, what's going to happen? And that next day is when I started my business. That's the truth of the matter.
And that was when? What year?
It was 2009, really. It was 2009. And that's really what's going on with us right now, Jacqueline. So many people are losing their jobs, and so many people are starting businesses, because sometimes that's what happens, is that when you go through life challenges, you end up doing what you were supposed to be doing all along. Because I really was married to my corporate jobs, enjoyed the fact that I didn't have to go out and like hustle for money or anything like that. So, but in 2009, I woke up, negative bank account, knew I couldn't call my husband at the time. And I was like, Tonya, you have got to think about something that you can do, that you can sell today, because you need food in the refrigerator, just life stuff. And that's really how I got started.
Wow. And that's so real. That is so real. And you're absolutely, or shall I say, I totally agree with you in terms of everything with this COVID-19. people have found themselves in a position, they're like, oh my God, what am I going to do?
That's right.
And I know for myself and a lot of the other guests that I've talked to, it just kind of really shakes you to the core, because you realize that just like that, things could change.
That's right.
Like a job that, and even before COVID-19, if we want to really keep it real, jobs are not like they used to be. Like, I know I was raised in that era of, you go to school, you get a good education, and you get a good job, right? You work that job for what, 30 plus years, and then you retire. They give you, a watch, a nice little pendant or whatever, but you did have a pension and you could retire, but now that's like a thing of the past.
That's right.
Most of these jobs out there now are not even offering a pension, and they here one day and gone the next.
That's right.
So that, I mean, that's been a trend for years now, because I've been, well, I want to date myself, but I mean, I've been in the working field professional, in my career since what, 94. So I've really, seen how things have changed and how companies are giving less and less, and because of the market and everybody, needing a job, they have a plethora of applicants and they don't have to offer as much.
That's right.
So it's been like a steady progression.
I agree with you on that. And it's difficult. It can be difficult for people these days. I know someone that actually helps people, two people that actually help people, their career coaches that can help people actually get employment if that's, what their desires are. But it is difficult these days. And I've always had a side hustle though, ever since I was, because like I said, I grew up with entrepreneurs. So even though I had these jobs and was in corporate and was in education for a while, I always did it like did have a side hustle. And I think that that's one thing that we need to remember these days, that no matter how much money you're earning, no matter how great that, title is, it would be really wise to not put all your eggs in one basket, So we do need to have multiple things going on, 2 or 3, 5, 6, 7, whatever, whatever you can handle going on, because at the end of the day, you're only going to get what you invest in, and you know where the money's coming from because you're actually putting the work behind that. Whereas when we depend on corporate America, or we depend on the school system, or whatever, any job, it doesn't matter. It may not be there the next day. And people don't have, the employers, they're not all, every employer do not give you 2 months or 6 months or 2 weeks or even 1 day sometimes. Sometimes
you know why? Because it's at will. When you sign on, they tell you real quick, this is at will employment.
Yes.
You could be here on Friday and Monday you won't.
Yes.
You know what I mean? On both of y'all's ends. On our end as the employee, on their end as the employer.
That's right.
And then also, now don't get me wrong, we're not saying that it's complete security in being an entrepreneur, right? I think what it really, and tell me what you think about this, Dr. Tonya. Is it okay to call you Dr. Tonya?
Or Tonya?
Okay, I've been creating stuff, So, but I really think, like how you mentioned earlier about that multiple streams of income, right?
Yes.
Because you never know. And really what I think it is, I think it's a matter of being able to pivot, being able to adapt, being able to adjust, and being able to take a fresh look, and be real with yourself about what's working and what's not. You know what I mean? You may have created a particular stream of income in, I don't know, 2000. And now what are we in now? 2021, that maybe, just isn't as lucrative as it was in 2000. You know what I mean? You have to be willing to pivot and change, right?
I had to do it. Before COVID-19, I had earned my doctorate maybe about 4 years ago. And I was offered several jobs here in Las Vegas, but none of them were the jobs that I really wanted. So my husband was like, Tonya, what would happen if you just went ahead and really just did your business and stop trying to work for people and just really do it just full force? So when I did it and I took a look at the whole new landscape, I realized that I needed to get online. I needed to have an online presence. And Jacqueline, I was so scared. I'm telling you, I was just so afraid. So I had to pivot. This was before COVID-19 actually happened. And I didn't understand. So what I did is I hired coaches. I hired some coaches so that I could actually learn how to do what I'm doing. I'm still learning. I still have to hire people to show me different things. But I agree with you. My old business model from 2009, 2010 didn't work anymore, you know? And I realized that waiting on people to send me referrals wasn't going to work anymore either. Because up to that point, really for all those years, because I only wanted to earn $1,000 a month from my business. I was like, because I had that other money coming in. So I was like, okay, one referral a month, I'm good. I just get that $1,000. I can do whatever I want to do with that money. But then my mindset had to change. I had to like get away from being fearful of being online, learn how to even do an IG live or Facebook live, learn the terminology. And then I had to learn about landing pages and learn about, oh God, it was just so much to learn.
Look, I'm with you. I mean, I've been up so many nights, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, trying to get a dang on landing page to work. Okay, so believe me, I know what you're talking about. And I know the other entrepreneurs out there like, yes. It's like a whole new world, right?
It is. It really is. It really is. That's the reason why on purpose, in thoughts, words, and deeds, I do everything I can to help people, no matter where they are in their business, their business journey with their businesses. Mm-hmm. And, that terminology, it took me a whole day to do a landing page the first time I did it too. So I really can relate to that. But that's how you make your money. You got to do the landing pages. You got to learn how to do all of that. So it's important that we pivot, and now is the time. Now is a great opportunity. You mentioned earlier, if I may, you mentioned earlier, you said you're a social worker, and so you're a counselor or a therapist, right? That's what you are. Okay. Mm-hmm. Well, I see grants for those type of occupations all the time, and those type of organizations all the time. So I'm going to be sending you some information the next time I see some things, because the government does have grants just for people in your career field, just for what you're doing. And you know what? I saw a grant recently for podcasts. The government had a grant for people to create a podcast on fishing and gaming, a podcast. I've seen grants for webinars. The government will pay organizations to do webinars. It's just unlimited what the government, really wants. So for products and services.
Let me ask you this. How did you get into that? Was that because, okay, you have a business background. Were you doing that for another company, or was that something that you kind of dove into for yourself when you started on your own?
Well, what I always wanted to, I think I kind of just fell into it, to be honest with you, because I've done a lot of IT work in the past, and I've done a lot of HR work in the past, and some education. Mm-hmm. I fell into it because I worked for a church, and I knew the church needed funds. The church needed funds. The church needed products. And through research, after doing my MBA, because I have a general MBA, I really just took myself through a school of learning all about grants and what have you. Bought some books, took some more classes, and learned, and have learned over the years as I continue to do it. So that's how I fell into it, because I was a part of a church staff at one point. And my husband and I were a part of the outreach ministry. So we needed to be able to get sponsors. So I had to just learn how to get sponsors in order to help the kids in the church. So young people in the church.
And, that is so valuable, because as an entrepreneur, it's so many moving pieces, right? Because you whatever a coach's specialty is, that's one thing, my specialty is self-esteem, self-confidence, teaching women how to create that for themselves. That's awesome. But there's so many working pieces. So there's, I've had to hire coaches or do masterminds or, purchase self-help, self-study materials on, like you said, funnels or marketing or how to get grants, right? So it's a lot of different moving pieces, right?
Yes, it is.
And we don't have all the answers, and it's okay not to have all the answers, but you do need to know how to, who to turn to, where to go to get the answers. And also it's a good idea to know how to do it yourself. Now I don't want to do another landing page, period. period. I don't. I can, but there are other people out there. And, again, I have to get into the generational thing. Those individuals, like I have run across some, like my last VA, I think she's in her early 20s, maybe 25 at the most. She can do a whole landing page probably in like 30 minutes, whereas it would take me about 4 hours. You know what I mean? So it's just like I can do it, and it's good to have a knowledge and an understanding behind it. But you also have to know, what can be delegated too. Like my skills can be used for something much better than me doing a landing page. So I think it's like you said, it's a lot of moving pieces, and you know, it sounds like there's a lot of grants out there that people just don't even know about. Like I don't know. I've never taken the time to research it.
Okay, well, let me share some places for you. The first place would be grants.gov.
Okay.
I would start at grants.gov because once you get into that system, grants are around the world. People that are interested in having receiving global grants or applying for global grants, I would go to grants.gov, and in the research type in USAID, AID, because those will be grants that will be around the world. But right there for grants.gov, in your situation, all you would have to do is type in the word counseling or therapy in that grants.gov search area and see exactly what comes up. So there are grants at the state level, there are grants at the federal level. So there's just so many different types of grants. There are grants through corporations. I think of Melinda and Bill Gates Corporation. When I think of grants, I think of Walmart. I think of Coca-Cola. I think of so many different big companies that actually have those type of grants that are set aside for people that are for-profit and for people that are non-profit. And I often tell people, because the people ask me where do I find grants? Honestly, I pray first. I said, Lord, show me where the money is. I always pray first. And then Google, I would just type in, like I live in Las Vegas, I would type in grants for counseling services in the state of Nevada, and a whole list will come up. And then you just work your way through the list. But there are so many grants, we'll never be able to put in for all those grants. That's how many grants are available. We'll never be able to do it.
Okay, tell us one more time, what was that web address?
It is grants.gov. That's grants.gov. Okay. That's one place that you could actually go and see the federal grants and the state grants. It's just so much out there. So I think anybody that's really want to get grants is to really go through the process of understanding what a grant is, understanding what type of grant they really want. Their grants that are like for seed money for you to help start your business. Some of those available. There are grants just for the programs and for the projects. There's grants available for capital investments. There's just so many different types of grants. So many different types of grants that are available. Find out what you have to do. I often tell people to look for a proposal. You could just Google it. Example of grant proposal. Bring up that, find a good one, and then just fill it out according to your business. Just fill it all the way out. Do your homework. Just do some homework.
Okay. So I want to talk a little bit more about, tell us more specifically how you serve, like who you serve exactly and how you serve.
My ideal clients are people who have their mindsets ready to really pursue their dreams, because I think that before you do anything, you really do have to have the mindset to be ready to go. So those are my ideal clients. I work with people in the nonprofit and the for-profit arena. It would be somebody that is a new start. I absolutely love working with organizations from the grassroots, from the startup. I love that. But then I also work with people that are seasoned. Maybe it's somebody that's already gotten a federal grant and they just want somebody to do the paperwork, and that's it. Find the grant, do the paperwork. I work with people like that. And I absolutely love working with nonprofits that already have their tax exempt status, because in those situations, we're able to just find about maybe 5,000 grants for them. And then I'll have the client look at that, and then they'll just pick out the ones we want to go after, and then we'll just do those applications, knock them out. Now, I don't do it by myself. I have a team of people that actually help me. So I work with nonprofits and nonprofits. And, I help people get their visions out of their heads and out of their hearts and on paper, because what's written is how you're going to actually be able to get the money. You get you a better chance if it's already written it out. And then I also help people develop nonprofits, because everything is all about teamwork. I've been saying this over and over that hashtag collab over competition, and for so many different grants, the funder, the grantor is looking for somebody who actually have teamed up. Like, let's say you and I decided we were going to do something in youth education, where you're a counselor, I'm a grant writer. You and I could form a type of organization. You know what I'm saying? And, I'm real good with working with kids too. And then you and I, the name of your company, I'm going to say Queens Roundtable, the name of my company, CGE, we could go together collectively and apply for the funds. You see what I'm saying, Jacqueline?
Okay.
It's really good to work with people, especially with grants. Really good to work with people.
I hadn't thought of that. I guess it makes sense. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Wow. Okay. I was going to ask you, okay, so when you work with, profit, for-profit, and nonprofit.
Yes.
Okay. So do you have a group, or do you do webinars, regular webinars, or individuals, or both?
What I do is I do masterminds. I do how to get grants masterminds. And then at the beginning of the year in January, I'm going to be rolling out a small group. So I'm going to be doing groups, in my Dr. Tonya B mastermind. And then I only accept 4 clients per month. So one-on-one clients. And I work with them for 5 to 6 weeks to get everything done. Because to me, it is quality over quantity any day, and I want to make sure that if somebody is with me one-on-one, that they actually get everything that I have. And I believe that by not trying to overdo it, you know what I'm saying? I really want to have that experience. I want people to have an experience with me. I don't want it to be just you pay me and then boom, 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 boom. And this whole process of small business development, it is a process. It's a journey. I have a 5-step system that I've created to get grants, and then each person that works with the individual will go through that entire process.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow. Now, can you share the process with us, or is that not something that you're able to do unless it's in a class, or
What you have to do is you got to get legal. So that means I can share some of it.
Okay.
So many people it's okay, or I'm not saying that everybody needs an LLC, because that's not true, but you need to form some type of a DBA, what have you. You got to get legal first, and then you have to get in the system. So there's 2 systems. It's the grants.gov system, and you have to get in the sam.gov system. So that's the sam.gov system. So we get them in the system, and then while they're in the system, I have a grant researcher that actually research the list of grants that are available for the for-profits or the nonprofit, whoever we're dealing with. We'll get all of that together, and then we go behind the scenes and we have sessions where we develop a strategy, a winning strategy that's going to really help that client from here on out, because what I do is I teach the people how to fish with my clients. I teach them how to fish. I don't do all the work for them, but I equip them with all the tools they need in order to continue to apply for grants after me, because as you and I both know, there are no grantees with grants. You take a risk every time you put in an application. But the only thing I tell my clients is that it's just like looking for a job. You can't continue to look for a job over and over and over and never get one, So that's how you have to look at it with grants. The whole grant writing process to me is a marathon, it's not a sprint. But by the time that client is done with me, they'll have all that together, and all the paperwork together, all of the list of grants together, so that they can either do it on their own or have their team do it for them after we're no longer doing it for them.
Okay. So that's good. That way you assist them in doing it. But like you said, then they're able to do it for themselves.
That's important.
Okay. Now, I have a question. So I guess the first thing that comes to my mind, because I have worked for a lot of nonprofits in the past, is that when you get grant money, is that, how do I say this? Is that kind of an opportunity for someone to look into your business? Like, do you have to, give them stats or show them that you using the money in this way, or something along those lines, because that's like the first thing that comes to my mind when I think of like a nonprofit and getting grant money.
Yeah, you do. There are accountability that you have to. If somebody was to give you $50,000 to provide this particular service to these group of people, I keep on going up saying youth. These group of people, you will have to be accountable for that money. But during the grant writing process, a budget is actually done, and then you also have like a timeline on when everything needs to be done. You're gonna write out exactly who's gonna do it, so that because what the timeline is going to do is going to actually keep you on track to making sure that you actually meet your goals. So yeah, you do have to give an account. Now you don't have to give the money back, but you do have to give an account. And normally in the grant writing process too, like I said, everything is all spelled out. Who's going to do what, when they're going to do it. So if you're going to service 50 youth every month, then when the youth come in, they're going to actually sign in. And you may end up thinking it's going to be 50, but in the end, it ends up being 100 youth per month. And you'll keep a track of all of that. And then you'll share that information with the grantor. You know what I'm saying? Later on, everybody has different guidelines, but you really want to make sure you keep up with all your paperwork.
So, okay. So how does it work when it's for-profit businesses that are getting the grants?
Let me give an example.
Okay.
I'm not going to divulge whose name it is, but at the beginning of the year, I had a client that received quite a bit of money, and it was really money that it was a grant. The government had set aside these particular funds, and she'd had everything in place. So we applied for it, and she got the money. So you can go through the state. It was a COVID-19 state money that she actually got. So that's one example. Now here's another thing. There's a misconception or a myth that for-profits cannot apply for grants. When you go to grants.gov, it's going to say the different type of entities, and it will say for-profit. And if that actual solicitation says for-profit, then that means a for-profit can apply for it. Yeah.
Okay. Wow, this is very, very informative. So I wanted to ask you, I wanted to make sure that you get an opportunity, and I know we kind of dove into it already, but is there anything, or what else did you want to let the audience know in reference to how to obtain grants? Because I know that's what you were going to talk to them about today, and I know, like I said, we kind of dove into it already, but I want you to go ahead and go into that, whatever else you want to mention in reference to that.
Thank you. What I want everybody to do is, get legal. I'm going to actually go back over all of that. Get really legal. Do what you need to do in order to be a legal business in whatever state that you are in. So make sure you do that. And after you've done that, learn what you have to do in order to get into SAM.gov and also into grants.gov, those two systems, because that's the systems that you have to be in order to even apply for grants. And another thing is this. Remember earlier I talked about doing the research. Just go to Google and just type in examples of grants and start reading over that process, reading what you have to do. Understand the anatomy of a grant proposal. And then once you understand that, then for whatever corporation that you have, or it could be a nonprofit corporation, it could be a for-profit, actually go ahead and just do a template and you know what, and write it all out. And then after you do that, do your own research. I'm not trying to say that you don't need a grant writer, but if you have great administrative skills, then you really don't need a grant writer. You could do it, or you could hire someone else to do it, or you could hire a grant writer. But make sure you do what you need to do in order to learn everything you can about grants, so that when you put in for them, you have a greater chance of actually winning them. Okay. And I just want you to know that, be encouraged. Don't give up. Remember, this whole process about getting grants is a marathon. It's not a sprint. It may not happen overnight. It may not happen 3 months, but if you keep on going, there's a great chance that you will be able to actually get it. And also these new grants of the government, well, they're not really new anymore, but the EIDL grant, the PP loan, and all these different things, learn about all of that. Learn about that and see if you qualify. So, I can be found on Instagram at only Dr. Tonya B. It's right there at the bottom. So if you need any help, just reach out to me. Either I will assist you. I know like a whole lot of grant writers that can assist you. I will connect you with someone if I can't help you. That's what it's all about. It's all about us supporting everybody. And don't forget to do your business plan, even if it's your little small business plan. You know, go ahead and do your business plan. So, Jackie, thank you so much for allowing me to just share some tidbits. And I believe that what I just shared, if you just do that, just do what I just said, you know, then you'll be right in place in order to go ahead and apply for grants, you know. And I just wish you big success on your nonprofit and also on your for-profit.
Yes, yes, yes. I'm so honored to have you here on the show. You know, as I'm sitting here and I'm listening to you, I'm thinking about sponsorship because I know everyone's familiar with sponsorship. Now, would you say you can use that same format or template, you know, if I'm saying it correctly, to be able to apply for sponsors? Like, is that also something that you help businesses with?
Well, I mainly work with grants,
Okay.
but I do help. Like I am on the board of a couple of organizations, so I do help those organizations get in place to ask for sponsorship also. And yes, once you have everything written out, you know, once everything is out of your head and out of your heart and on paper, you could actually put together those sponsorship packages based upon what you have written about your passion. So the biggest thing though, what I'm finding, Jackie, is that some people have a dream and they may dream about it every night, but the dreams aren't written. And, you know, grant writers love people who have their plans already written out, you know? So that's the biggest thing. Yes, you can take those proposals, take some of the pieces of it and put it together to put together sponsorship packages. You can do that. And that's
Okay.
a great thing to do. So go wherever there's money, go after it, you know, sell your products and services, apply for grants, get sponsorships, you know, work with people that will volunteer. You know, you could do in-kind people for in-kind type of donations. You could get that. You could partner with different community colleges or college students that want to work with you and just come and learn and, you know, learn about business, learn about your industry. There's so many different ways to get free help. So it's just like us. You and I are not going to be dependent on one job ever again. I already know that for the rest of our lives. We're going to always have multiple streamlines of income coming in. So when you have an organization, especially a nonprofit, make sure that you do everything you're supposed to do, you know, and just connect with different groups so that you can have money coming in from different directions because you can't just depend on grants. The government may decide, all right, I'm going to give you $500,000 this year, but then next year they may say, I'm sorry, we pulled the funding. And, you know, so you have to be ready.
Yeah.
I hope
And
I haven't talked too much.
oh, no, no, no. This is good. This is good. So the reason I wanted to mention that about sponsorship is because some people, you know, like I said, I think a lot of times people associate grants with nonprofits, you know, versus a lot of us that are doing, you know, or have for-profit businesses. But we definitely are familiar with and understand sponsorship. So from what I'm hearing you say, it kind of sounds like if you sit down, you do a business plan, and you know talk about why you started it. I mean, I don't know the first about it, but let's say you do your business plan and you do the research, look up a template online, and you can be able to do both. You can apply for a grant and then be able to take some of that same meat out of that and apply for sponsorship, or you know approach different companies that are maybe in line with what you do or the services that you provide, and see if they want to be a sponsor. So it kind of sounds like, you know, when you sit down and put all that together, you could have, you know, branch off two different directions with that. And
Yes,
again, that's you know putting more irons in the fire. It's not putting all the eggs in one basket, so to
that's
speak.
right.
Yeah.
Yes, you
So
can. You said it. You said it quite. I agree with everything that you said. You're right. You can. That's the approach to do. But the situation is this: is that you know you have to take the time to do it. We have to do it. You know, I have to do it. You have to. We all have to decide. Okay, we're going to block out this time to make sure we do this. And in addition to that, we're going to block out a specific amount of time every week to make sure that we continue to do it. You know, and I think that's sometimes what people will not sometimes do. I know I'm guilty of that. Not sticking to a schedule. Now I try to live on my schedule. But you know, yes, you're right. You can do it that way.
yeah, so
I
this
just
has been, I mean, this
encourage
has been very informative. We still have a few more minutes, but I'm just kind of just trying to digest it And I just want to bring or be able to ask different questions that I think people may be interested in or may want to know.
Well,
So,
I want to bring out the mission portion. You
okay.
want to make sure that when you're looking for sponsors or for grantors or people that are going to be funding you, potential ones that can fund you, make sure that your mission aligns with their mission.
Okay.
One of the key things is make sure that your mission aligns. So here's the thing, and be able to do an elevator speech in 1 to 3 minutes, because you just never know what's going to happen. You could be in an elevator with someone, you could be stuck with a billionaire, in an elevator, and they just say, well, you know what? Once I go up to the 24th floor, when it's over with, and you have to stop talking. So you being able to share that information, what your mission is. So what a business plan does, it forces I don't mean to be preachy. I know it's Sunday, but the Word of God says, write the vision and make it plain, right? And then I remember Nehemiah, how he wrote these letters in order to build the wall, and he had all that information done beforehand before seeing the king. So to me, that's like doing a business plan. So in today's society, we really are growing up in a microwave generation, but but it's so important to sit down, even if you're a for-profit. What is your mission? You know what? My mission really is to lead people to their wealthy place. Be used by God to lead people to their wealthy place. I do that by helping people get in place to apply for funding. It could be for loans, it could be for grants, whatever it is. It could be setting up packages, because I do that too with small business development. I help somebody. This is a true story. I got receipts. So I helped somebody set up a new business, and then 30 days later, they had earned their first 3K in that business. So I do things like that too. You see what I'm saying? Anything to help people get paid, and then every individual person, they need a different thing. But know what your mission is, know what your purpose is, and just follow your heart, pray, believe God, because that's what happened to me. I said, okay, no more jobs. I'm just going to go ahead, do this full time. And I have been, it doesn't even feel like I'm working, to be honest with you. I can't believe I'm getting paid to do what I absolutely love doing.
Isn't that awesome, though? To be
Yes.
able to get paid doing something you love.
Yes.
I mean, that is like, whew. So, okay, I want to acknowledge Miss Fucina. How you doing, Miss Fucina? Thank you for joining us, for popping in. So I was trying to hold on my thoughts. I don't want to interrupt you. But it was something I wanted to mention in reference to what you were saying. So mission statement. Okay, so take note of that, ladies. When you are looking for, like you said, grants and or sponsors, make sure or look at those companies that your missions line up. And in order to do that, you have to be clear on what your mission is, right? So it's a good idea to, sit down and think about, write it out if you have to. How at least I know what I'm better with writing. That helps me to, lay my thoughts out and clear my mind and make sure, dot my I's and cross my T's. So make sure you know what your mission statement is, and be able to write, like she mentioned, an elevator pitch, something very concise, right? About who you serve, how you serve them. Help me out. So like in this elevator pitch, what points would they need to hit?
You want to make it real short. You don't want a whole big, you don't want a whole lot. But whatever your mission is, like I lead people to their wealthy place. I lead people to their wealthy place. And really and truly, that's body, soul, and spirit. So my people has primarily been women, of a certain age. That's another example. So that's, it has to come from within. It could be that you provide services to youth. It could be that you provide foster care services to youth. To children. So that's another example. So you have to really just think about, it has to come from your heart. That's what I'm trying to say. It really has to come from your heart. And that's why you have to take the time to really think about what your mission is. Now, for me, I write a lot. So I know that I'm called to write, and I'm called to write books that lead people to their wealthy place. Anything that I do, I'm called to. So anything I do is all about making sure other people, earn money, get paid. I know that that's what I do. And I believe some people are called to do like work in the medical profession. So You know, it could be an example of actually open up a home health care agency. You know, I help families provide services for the elderly population. That's another example. But something real clear and precise about who your target audience is and what you're going to do, and then what's the impact you're going to have is what I think is
Okay.
really good. But don't be too long though, because you know you want
Okay.
people to be able to remember it, and you want it to, like I said, come from here. You know, you really want to come from here, because honestly, I have done this type of work that I'm doing now. I've done this so long, way before I even got paid. You know, before, you know, I was doing HR, what have you, and writing SOPs and what have you in different corporations.
Mm-hmm.
But I was still helping people get in place to get grants. So you see what I'm saying? It has to be a heart thing, I think. And that's
Right.
another thing, you know, having a nonprofit doesn't mean that you're going to get rich. You know, for profits, yeah, you can get rich, but nonprofits, you get rich, you're going to go to jail probably. You know what I'm saying? So, you know,
you get rich, you go to jail.
Yeah, you probably going to go to jail if you take those people's money and don't do what you're supposed to do. So you got to understand. So if you know that your main focus is earning a whole lot of money, then I don't think you should be doing a nonprofit unless you do something on the side,
Right.
and you take that money and funnel it into the to the nonprofit. You know, so you really got to do your homework, and you got to take a time to just step back and think about what you really want when you develop that mission. And then once you get that mission statement, it'll be easy to find people that have a similar mission, because all you got to do is Google it.
Boom. All you gotta do is Google it. You know what? When you when you said about the going to jail, you know, I've worked at nonprofits. I'm telling you, I've worked at a nonprofit in the past, and they were doing some illegal stuff, because I'm telling you, they were coming for them. And sure enough, you know, I got out just in the nick of time. And I learned that they went out of business, because when I put it on my resume, they're like, "Oh, there's no, you know, there's no open business with this name." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, well, you know, I guess they did get shut down." You know, so it's just like, I know all about that. I know all about people taking money, you know, to do certain things, and they don't do it, and people end up getting indicted, and agencies get closed, you know, stuff like that. So
I'm sorry to hear that,
I know all
because
about
really
that
and
part.
truly, you know, you're supposed to follow the budget,
Yeah.
follow what you have written in that proposal. Just do what's in the proposal, period. You know, and then, you know, because at the end of the day, it's all about who we serve. You want to make sure that the people we serve get the services that they were supposed to be getting, you know. And if your heart is not right, don't even do it. Don't even go that route, you know. Don't take money and then don't put it in the right places, because people need to be fed, children need shoes, you know, just so many people need coats in the wintertime. You know, just be a person of character when it comes down to doing nonprofits. And that's the reason why I screen my clients. Just because you come to me, you know, I'm being honest, I want to make sure that I work with people of integrity, not with the spirit of greed, because I don't want to be associated with the spirit of greed, because at the end of the day, you know, not all money is good money. And really, and I'm not influenced by big names either. You know, I could care less about that, because in God's eyes, we're all the same. And, you know, to me, character, my grandmother often said this. She said that manners will take you farther than money. And that has stuck with me throughout the entire years, because I try to treat people the way I want to be treated. You know, Jackie, you and I talked about this off camera. You know, my biggest thing is treating people the way I want to be treated. And at the end of the day, that I want to be able to sleep. I want peace, you know, and I don't want the feds to come and get me, because I've stolen some money, you know. I don't, you know, and be associated with that. No, I don't want that.
Oh, she said, "I don't want the feds after me."
Oh, no, I don't want that to
Oh,
happen.
Dr. Tanya, you something else. I know what you mean, though. And I like how you said, and ladies, we're going to wrap it up. You know, sometimes I have to say that out loud, because, you know, sometimes the conversation gets good, and, you know, I enjoy it. I enjoy exchanging, talking, and
Yes.
just putting it out there, because a lot of times sometimes people don't even know what they don't know. That's number one. Number two, sometimes people want to ask, but they don't want to ask. You know what I mean? So I think, everything you said here today is very, very important. And I think a lot of people need to hear it and want to hear it. But what I was going to say is that the comment you made on, and I'm paraphrasing obviously, but you just said something to the effect of, you're not really drawn to like big names. You pay more attention to like the quality of the person, or if they have a sense of integrity. And I'm the same way. I'm the same way, and I think that in this online space, sometimes it's easy for people to put on a front. You know what I mean? Because
Oh, yeah.
I've had some experience. I've had a lot of good experiences, and I've had like a few bad experiences. Where people pretend to be one thing, or they have like all these followers. And they're everywhere. Every time you see them, they're on the beach. Their hair is flapping in the flapping in the wind, and you know what I mean. And then you talk to them, and they're supposed to do something, and they have like no sense of integrity. Just none. Like not even a decent, like not even a common sense of decency. The like the whole idea of treat people how you want to be treated just doesn't even apply.
That's right. Yes.
So yeah, so I'm totally with you on that, because that means a lot to me, like a person's character, like what people say behind, like off camera, so to speak.
Yeah.
Camera, you can pretend to be whatever,
That's right.
but it really boils down to, the core of you is what you say or what you do, like behind the scenes or when no one else is looking.
Yes.
So
I agree. And I don't follow big numbers, because I remember my first coach is a guru. She's a fashion guru. Her name is Fashionably Kim. I'm going to give her a plug. And she's in the fashion industry. I love her so much. She taught me so much. She said, I think that you need to rechange your whole Instagram. She said, because I don't even see you. This doesn't look like you can do any help anybody, And she was just so on. She said, this is so horrible. So I had to go in there and fix everything. And I was telling her, I said, I only have 300 followers. She said, girl, don't worry about those followers. She said, I think if you get about 500, you'll be all right. And right when I got about 500 followers on Instagram, I got my first client. 500 followers. 500 followers. So, and then I know people that have, tens of thousands of followers and personally, and they haven't received one client at all or sold anything on Instagram, because you can buy those followers. So don't follow the numbers, follow integrity.
You know what? That's just keeping it real. You're right, because anything is for sale, right?
That's right.
Buy anything if you got enough money, or the money want to put the money towards it. So
that's right.
Yeah. Okay. And I've seen that too. That some coaches or whatever that I've worked with, or just running, know them online, and they may not have the numbers, but they have the testimonials. They have the people that sing their praises. You know what I mean? And it's nothing like a true connection, or to really feel like the coach cares about you and your success.
That's right.
Not just not just your next payment.
That's right.
Yeah. So that speaks volumes. And like you said, it's not always about the numbers. Somebody can be doing well. I mean, really bringing in, the amount of money that they want to a month, even though they may not have 50 plus 50,000 something followers.
That's right.
So everything is not always what it seems, right?
No, it isn't.
It's on the outside.
That's right. I agree with you on that. Yeah. And Kim taught me that, and that stuck with me. And I just tried, after that, I stopped trying to grow the followers. Yeah. Now I just provide the services, and I try to provide good content. Like on here today, it is an honor to talk on your platform. I wanted to share with people what they got to do in order to get grants on their own. Not to puff me up, but to really help them do it on their own. Because you can get grants without paying people. Yep. You don't have to hire a grant writer. Yep. Now, if you want somebody to work with, then contact me. But if not, do it on your own.
Right.
But no matter what, I wish everybody success. And thank you so much, Jacqueline, for having me.
Yep, you're welcome. You're welcome. Thanks for coming on the show. So we're going to go ahead and wrap it up for this afternoon show. Thanks again. I am your host, Jacqueline Kabah Harrison, and you have heard from Dr. Tonya Blackmon today. If you need any assistance in reference to grants, grant writing, getting your mission or everything set up so you can either apply for grants and or sponsors, then she is definitely your person. You can check her out on Instagram. Real quick, where else can they find you, or is this the best place to find you?
This is probably the best place, but I'm www.drtonyab.com also. But
Okay.
Instagram would probably be the best place.
Okay.
Or
All
LinkedIn.
right, so
LinkedIn too. I'm Dr. Tonya Blackmon on LinkedIn.
Okay. Okay, cool. Excellent. Excellent. I don't know if I'm in your LinkedIn network. I have to check. So go ahead, reach out to her, and make sure you join us again in the future every Sunday at 3 p.m. with the exception of a holiday weekend. Definitely tune in. I bring on different guests. And again, we talk about things to help you improve personally, professionally, to help you improve your lives as well as scale your business. And if you're interested in being a guest on the show, use the link that is in the write up and apply. And let's get you on the show so you can go ahead and share your knowledge and expertise with the audience as well to help them level up their business. So, everyone, thank you for tuning in and join us again next Sunday and enjoy the rest of your Sunday afternoon. And Dr. Tonya, I will be talking with you again soon. And thanks again for being on the show.
Thank you.